Hi there, welcome back to the Scenic Route with your girl Jovanna. How you doing? If this is your first time, I am so happy you found me. So, if you caught my last video, I will link it up above. You may have seen that I gave a little teaser as to what my next video was going to be about. If you speak a different language, if you have an accent, if you've been made fun of for the way you speak, I want you to stick around because that inspired a thought for me for this new video. So I hope you'll stay with me to the end and leave a comment and let me know what you think about today's topics. So let's get right to it. You may have seen that I mispronounced a word and I just kept going. I mispronounced the word persevere. See? Sometimes it's hard to say a word. Doesn't matter how well you speak the language. So, if you decided to continue watching, it's likely that you speak another language or perhaps two different languages or perhaps more if you're like super uber cool like that. I wish I could speak like so many languages. I'm always in awe of people who speak like 5, 6 languages. I mean, different parts of the world require that, right? Just to communicate, just to get around. Sometimes you're so close to neighboring countries that speak different languages that it's in your best interest to learn multiple languages. And I'm like, oh, I wish that would have been me. However, I speak English and I speak Spanish. I am fluent in both. I think you might agree that my English is fairly decent, right? And I've always worked really hard to neutralize my accent in English. I'm from the Northeast, so sometimes I used to have a New York accent or a Jersey accent because that's where I grew up. However, I tried to really neutralize it, right? For work. However, I've always felt like my English is like accented. Or sometimes when I think in two different languages, right? You think of something in Spanish or whatever your language is, and you're trying to like convert it and translate it into the second language. And sometimes your wheels don't turn quick enough, or sometimes a joke just doesn't work in another language. Has that ever happened to you where you're like, you try to make a joke and you're like, yeah, if I was speaking English, that would have worked, or vice versa, right? So I've always had this feeling of like, wow, my English isn't good enough. I know, really weird, but I've always thought that, you know, when I was working in corporate America, I just couldn't quite grasp certain words as quickly in my head, especially when I was, you know, practicing my Spanish so frequently with my family at home. So needless to say, I always felt a little, I don't know, like self-conscious maybe about my English and about my Spanish, because similarly, if I went back to my country or another Spanish-speaking country, there's a lot of words that are different, and different words mean different things, as we well know sometimes. Like my husband, many of you have met, Oscar, he's Mexican. I'm Dominican. And sometimes we talk and we look at one another and we're like, what? Even though we're both speaking Spanish, we just completely confuse one another. I just remember when I moved here to Los Angeles as an actor, I struggled with my Spanish. Yo hablo español fluidamente, pero a veces se nota que no soy mexicana, que no soy de Centroamérica, porque no lo soy. If you didn't catch that in Spanish, I said that sometimes I'll speak Spanish and I didn't sound Mexican or from Central America because I'm not. It was such a challenge for me. I remember my first audition in Spanish here in LA. The camera dude, he just started laughing at me, like laughing in my face. And I was like, what just happened? And he kind of leaked the fact that he was laughing at my accent. But it wasn't like a funny laugh. It was like, what are you doing in here talking like that? And I was like so embarrassed. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I try to neutralize my Spanish, but as a Dominican American, American Dominican, I was born here. Sometimes it's really difficult because in the Caribbean, where I'm from, we don't pronounce certain letters. The R, like I don't pronounce R properly. I can pronounce the double R, carro, but I can't pronounce the one R. It sounds like an L. So why I say this is because it's kind of funny, actually. This is why I changed my name, because I couldn't pronounce my name. How embarrassing is that? I would come into the room, I would introduce myself, slate, which is what you do on camera to say hello to the people on the other side of the camera who are watching your audition. I would slate my name and I would say Jovanna Ortiz. And if you're Spanish speaking, you may have heard what I said wrong. I was saying Ortiz instead of Ortiz. I don't think I can say my name properly. So one of the hardest things is to maintain your confidence as a new actor throughout the whole stretch of the audition, which can be several minutes. Anything can pop into your head and you're like, oh, and that reads on the camera very quickly. And I just would cringe every time I said my last name because I'd see them cringe and I was like, I mispronounced my name again. How embarrassing. So any of you who don't know, mispronouncing Ortiz, which I can say in English, is like kind of mispronouncing the most common name in your country. So in the US, let's say it's like mispronouncing Smith or Jones. Who mispronounces that? Well, I did in Spanish. So hence the reason why I was like, that's it. I'm changing my name. And I changed my name to my grandmother's name, her maiden name, which is Vidal, because I can say that. Jovanna Vidal. It's very interesting when you have that moment and you're like, wow, I just said that wrong. And in your brain, you're like, I don't speak the language properly. And you apologize. You're like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for my accent. I'm sorry. I'm still working on my English or my Spanish or whatever the case may be. No. You don't apologize for having an accent. If you have an accent, that pretty much means that you speak multiple languages. And that's impressive, right? If you have an accent, that means that you probably think and react and speak and all these different wheels are turning in different like languages. And you know what? Give yourself a break. Like, just be easier on yourself. And I speak to so many international people around the world. Obviously, that's what international means. But you know what I mean? Because I get to meet so many people who love, so many younglings who love Dhar Mann from around the world. And when I do my lives, and oftentimes they're like, oh, I'm sorry, my English. I'm like, your English is amazing because guess what? English isn't your first language, but you're making an attempt, you're trying, and you sound great. And if you have an accent, likely it's a beautiful accent. So this message is for all of us who sometimes feel conflicted when we speak a different language. It's like, you know what? Kudos to you for trying. And so I really wanted to say this because when I mispronounced the word perseverance, I can say it sometimes. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep going. Because guess what? We all make a mistake. We all mispronounce words. We all misuse words sometimes. And that's okay. The fact that you're trying, the fact that you're, catching yourself, the fact that you are taking on another language altogether, that's hugely impressive. So to all my international peeps who are watching, huge kudos and a huge bravo to you. So do not apologize about your beautiful accent. And just honor it and appreciate the fact that you can speak multiple languages. So much so that Dhar Mann did a video about this, about that amazing YouTuber who was made fun of by the newscast head honcho dude, the Darmini, Michael Vaccaro, who we all love to watch be so mean. He just made fun of her and her Spanish, and look where she ended up, despite whatever language barriers she may have had on the onset of her career. It's like, who's laughing now, right? So don't worry about your accent. Don't get self-conscious about your dialect or about your not being able to speak another language as well as somebody else because that's not your first language. Who cares? Who cares? Did you see? That was a little Jersey. Who cares? Every so often it comes out, and I was speaking to someone from Jersey last night. So, hey, it's challenging because not only did I speak Spanish with an accent that wasn't favored for on-camera work. Mostly they want either a neutral accent or a Mexican accent. So then the opposite challenge came in where they'd be like, okay, can you speak English with a Spanish accent? And I'm like, I spent so many years to try to speak English with no Spanish accent. And then of course the amazing Sofia Vergara launches into the stratosphere with her like funny, amazing giggle and laugh, and she totally owns her Spanish English accent. And she makes a huge breakthrough in the general market, right? And that was like, oh my gosh, doors are gonna open. However, it complicated things even more for me because I can't do a Spanish accent in my English. Like if I try, it sounds so foolish. It sounds so forced. Yo sí hablo español. It's like, no, I can't even slow down my brain that much to do it. So it's just funny how language and accents and different cultures and different dialects, because right, in one country you can have like 10 different dialects or more. So it's just interesting. Language is a beautiful thing, and I just want to honor it. I want to honor all our languages, all our cultures, all our countries, and just realize that if you're trying to speak another language and you're still needing to put effort into it, just bravo. Bravo to you. So congratulations to you. Enjoy having a beautiful accent. At least that's all we hear. And don't apologize, because you're learning and you're utilizing a new language. And that is a huge kudos to you. So leave me a message, leave me a comment down below and let me know if this has ever happened to you, if you relate, if you're not going to be embarrassed or apologize anymore going forward because I gave you permission, even though you don't need permission, but I gave you permission to love your accent and to love your new language learning, speaking journey. Yes, love it. And be proud of yourself. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment. I love my comments. I always respond. And oh yeah, subscribe. Yeah. All right, guys. You guys are amazing. Big love. Till next time. Bye for now.